read verses 1 because we want to start off real good. In chapter 4, verse 1, it said, I therefore, a prisoner. This is Paul saying, listen, for one thing, I want you to know, even though I have my freedom, even though I might be American, even though I have my rights, I am a prisoner.
Right.
I am a prisoner, not just because he was locked up, but he was a prisoner to the will of God. He was a prisoner to what God had put on him to do. He didn't have a choice as to how he was going to serve.
That's right.
But so he stated right up front, I am a prisoner of the Lord. There's some work that God has called me to do that I must do. And I've been selfie and said, Selfie, you have been called. Go ahead and snap it off. Post it on social media and put on your post, I have been called. I've been called to his glory. I've been called to his work. And it says in verse 2, with all lowliness and meekness and with long suffering, forbearing one another in love. This thing ain't being done by your own will. This thing is being done by your love. Now I'm going to tell you right now, it's going to be a soaking rain today. Y'all ain't got that yet. It's going to be a soaking rain in the spirit. Well, it might be raining in this parking lot, but it's raining in the spirit. And it's got to soak into us. See, this is the time when, if you understand your gardening, and this ain't one in my notes, but I'm throwing this out there, but you got to understand that there's some stuff you got to put on your yard to prepare for this next season. And you are in a season now where we have already brought the harvest in, and if you brought no harvest in, then you have nothing to sustain you through the winter season. You have nothing to sustain you. So you got to start planning right now for next season. If I want some green grass, I got to put some stuff on my yard right now so that I can have something green when it comes to my season. So I can have something that's ready to grow when it comes to my season. Amen. So listen, I'm going to get us somewhere right here. Let me get on here. So we understand that God is calling us into something by his love. In verse 3 it says he's endeavoring us to keep the unity of the Spirit in the bond of peace. Now Paul was building something here. He was trying to get something in the Ephesians that they did not have already. Even though they was gathering, even though they were fellowshipping, they weren't getting something. They were missing something. So he said, look, you got to make it your effort. Endeavoring. You got to make sure that you make a plan on purpose. Endeavoring. This is not something that you just accidentally fall into. You slip and you endeavor. No, you got to plan to endeavor. You got to make a plan of determination. I will go forth. I will do what God said do. I will answer the call. It is me, oh Lord. Me, oh Lord, standing in the need of prayer. Not my mama, not my sister, not my brother, but it's me, oh Lord. That's an old school song too. Amen. Don't look for nobody else to do what God has called you to do. He said, listen, endeavoring to keep the unity of the Spirit in the bond of peace. We got to work together. We got to work in unity. We got to, listen, it's unity. Somebody say that, unity. Unity. Lady O like to say, it's you and I working together. Unity. You and I together. Working as a unit. Together. See, we all can be individual units, but when we come together, then we have unity. It's one, how many? One. It didn't say maybe two, or there could be one. It said there is one body. There is one spirit. Yeah. Even as you are called in the one hope of your calling. There is one Lord, one faith, one baptism. Where we come up with all this division from? God has called us to unity. God has put us all together, and he said, be unified. Come together and speak one thing. Come together and be part of the one. Come together and be part of the body. Come together and be one. That's what he said for us, to come together and be one. It's easy for me to be one by myself. It's easy for me to be saved by myself, because I ain't got nobody challenging me. I ain't got nobody bothering me. I ain't got nobody antagonizing me. I don't have nobody contradicting me. I can tell myself, and I can pretty much guarantee I'm going to do it. Because I am one. But as soon as we get together with other believers that's supposed to be worshiping the same God, we have so many conflicting ideals, so many conflicting beliefs, and there's only one Lord. There's only one God. Is that what it says? One faith. There's one baptism. One God and the Father of all, who is above all and through all. So whatever your opinion is, don't make a difference. It's raining now in this place. It don't make a difference what you be. It is all about what God is saying he wants you to be. Because he's calling us into a place of oneness. He's calling us into that oneness is unique because the world can't be one. We already know about going through this election that they ain't one. Trying to bring things together. Our country is not one. We're supposed to be one nation under God, indivisible with liberty and justice for all. But we not one. We can't be one because we don't understand the oneness of God.